The year is 2025. A shadow looms over our planet, the specter of hunger. Millions struggle daily, overshadowed by the pain of an empty stomach. From arid plains to bustling cities, the food crisis is a stark reminder of our interconnectedness. The statistics paint a grim picture. Over 1.9 million people are on the brink of famine. In the United States, 13.5% of households experienced food insecurity. In Canada, 15.6% of households grapple with food insecurity. The crisis is not confined to developing nations. It has infiltrated every corner of the globe, exposing vulnerabilities. The urgency of the situation cannot be overstated. We are at a crossroads. The choices we make today will determine our future. This is a fight for human dignity, justice, and the right to food. The global food crisis is about real people, real lives hanging in the balance. In Nigeria, Adeola stares at his withered crops, his heart heavy with despair. The rains have failed, leaving his land barren and his family hungry. In Haiti, Marie struggles to feed her 3 young children. The market is bare, its stalls empty due to soaring food prices. From Ukraine's war-torn fields to Cairo's flour shortages, these stories echo globally. The faces of the hungry reflect our collective failure to address this crisis. They are a call to action, a reminder that behind the statistics are real people. The global food crisis is not a sudden catastrophe but the culmination of interconnected factors that have been brewing for years. Like a perfect storm, these factors have converged with devastating consequences, pushing millions to the brink of starvation. One of the most significant contributors is conflict. Wars and civil unrest, like the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, disrupt agricultural production, displace communities, and cripple supply chains. The war in Ukraine, a major global breadbasket, has sent shockwaves through the global food system, leading to soaring prices and widespread shortages. The war in Sudan is causing a major humanitarian crisis, displacement, migration to other countries. Adding fuel to the fire is the ever-growing threat of climate change. Extreme weather events such as droughts, floods, and heat waves are becoming more frequent and intense, wreaking havoc on agricultural yields and threatening the livelihoods of millions of farmers around the world. Economic instability further exacerbates the crisis. Soaring inflation, driven by factors like rising energy prices and supply chain disruptions, has made food unaffordable for millions, pushing them deeper into poverty and hunger. The COVID-19 pandemic, with its lockdowns and economic fallout, has only served to worsen the situation, exposing the vulnerabilities of a system ill-equipped to handle such shocks. The global food system is a complex web of interconnected systems, vulnerable to disruptions at every stage. From the farmer planting seeds in the ground to the consumer purchasing food at the supermarket, a delicate balance exists, one that is easily shattered when harvests fail and markets falter. In many parts of the world, farmers operate on the edge of subsistence, relying on predictable weather patterns and stable markets to feed their families and communities. However, climate change is making weather patterns increasingly erratic, leading to unpredictable yields and jeopardizing livelihoods. When crops fail, farmers lose their income, their ability to feed their families, and their hope for the future. The ripple effects of these local crises are felt globally. As harvests dwindle and supplies tighten, food prices rise, impacting consumers worldwide. In import-dependent countries, particularly those already facing economic challenges, the impact is even more severe, leading to food shortages, social unrest, and increased poverty. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed the fragility of these global supply chains. Lockdowns and border closures led to disruptions in transportation, labor shortages, and panic buying, causing price spikes and shortages. These disruptions highlighted the need for more resilient and localized food systems that are less susceptible to global shocks. Section 5. The Silent Killer, Climate Change, and Food Security. Climate change is the most insidious threat to global food security. Rising temperatures and extreme weather events are impacting agricultural yields worldwide. Droughts and floods are becoming more frequent and severe. Smallholder farmers are particularly vulnerable. The time to act is now. Section 6. Seeds of Hope, Innovation and Resilience. In the face of daunting challenges, a spirit of innovation and resilience is emerging in the fight against hunger. Around the world, scientists, farmers, policymakers, and communities are coming together to develop and implement solutions aimed at building a more food-secure future.
Technological advancements are playing a crucial role. Precision agriculture, powered by data analytics and artificial intelligence, is helping farmers optimize their yields while minimizing their environmental impact. Drought-resistant crops, developed through advances in biotechnology, are providing a lifeline to farmers in arid regions, enabling them to produce food even in the harshest conditions.
Policy initiatives are equally important. Governments are implementing programs to support smallholder farmers, promote sustainable farming practices, and strengthen social safety nets to protect the most vulnerable. International cooperation is crucial to address the global nature of the crisis, providing aid to those in need and fostering collaboration on research and development.
Community-based solutions are proving particularly effective. Local food banks and community gardens are providing access to nutritious food in underserved areas, while initiatives promoting urban agriculture are transforming cities into food-producing hubs. These grassroots efforts are not only addressing immediate needs, but also building more resilient and equitable food systems from the ground up.
Section 7. A call to action, policies for a food-secure future. Addressing the global food crisis requires a multifaceted approach, tackling the root causes of hunger and building a sustainable food system. Governments must prioritize investments in sustainable agriculture, supporting smallholder farmers, particularly women. This includes providing access to credit, training, technology, and markets. Section 8. Global solidarity, a shared responsibility. The global food crisis is a stark reminder of our interconnectedness. Hunger anywhere is a threat to peace and prosperity everywhere. Addressing this crisis is not just a moral imperative, it is in our collective self-interest. We must move beyond the rhetoric of charity and embrace the principles of solidarity and shared responsibility. The global North, with its historical responsibility for climate change and its disproportionate consumption patterns, has a moral obligation to support the global South in building more resilient and sustainable food systems. This requires a fundamental shift in our mindset, from one of competition and self-interest to one of cooperation and global citizenship. We must recognize that we are all part of one human family, sharing a common planet and a common destiny. The challenges ahead are significant, but they are not insurmountable. By working together with a shared sense of purpose and urgency, we can build a world where everyone has access to the nutritious food they need to thrive. Section 9. Towards a world without hunger. The year is 2025. We stand at a crossroads, facing a global food crisis of unprecedented proportions. But amidst the challenges, a glimmer of hope emerges. Around the world, individuals, communities, and nations are rising to the occasion, driven by a shared commitment to building a more just and food-secure future. From the farmer in Nigeria adopting drought-resistant crops to the activist in Canada advocating for policy change, from the scientist in India developing climate-smart technologies to the consumer in the United States making conscious food choices, every action, no matter how small, contributes to the collective effort to end hunger. The journey ahead will be long and arduous, but we must never lose sight of our shared humanity and our responsibility to one another. By embracing innovation, fostering collaboration, and upholding the principles of justice and equity, we can transform our food systems and create a world where everyone has the right to food. Let us move forward with courage, compassion, and unwavering determination. Let us be the generation that ends hunger and builds a future where all can flourish. Section 10. The impact of policy decisions. Recent shifts in international policy have profoundly affected global food security. The termination of USAID, a key provider of food aid, has left many countries struggling. Ethiopia, for instance, saw a 30% increase in food insecurity. Farmers lost access to crucial resources, leading to failed harvests. Tariffs on agricultural imports and exports have further strained food systems. In 2020, tariffs caused staple food prices to soar by up to 15%. Countries like Yemen faced dire shortages, worsening humanitarian crises. These decisions highlight the interconnectedness of global food systems. Food security is a global issue requiring cooperative policies. This concludes our exploration of the global food crisis. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Africa's agricultural landscape is vast and varied. Sudan stands out with the largest agricultural land area on the continent, encompassing around 112.7 million hectares. This extensive farmland plays a crucial role in Africa's food production. When it comes to the biggest food exporter, South Africa dominates the market. Not only is it a leading supplier within Africa, but it is also the top destination for intra-food imports. Various countries, including Kenya, Ivory Coast, Mozambique, and Mauritius, have increased their food imports from South Africa, highlighting its significant role in the continent's food trade. Africa's food resources are diverse, yet heavily reliant on a few staple crops. Just 20 plant species provide 90% of our food, with wheat, maize, and rice accounting for 60% of all calories consumed, both on the continent and globally. This reliance on a limited number of crops deprives the continent of diverse food sources, exacerbating food and nutrition insecurity in Africa. In terms of food importers, Egypt leads the way. According to the Africa Agriculture Trade Monitor, AATM, Report 2024, Egypt is the largest importer of cereals, fats and oils, meat and offal, and oilseeds and oleaginous fruits. Other significant importers include Algeria, Nigeria, South Africa, and Libya, which are primary destinations for Africa's most imported product categories. The ownership of agricultural land in Africa is also notable. Frank Timmis, an energy and mining tycoon, owns African Agriculture Holdings. Despite his ventures being marred by allegations of fraud, corruption, and other scandals, several former high-profile U.S. diplomats serve on the company's board of directors. Understanding Africa's agricultural landscape is essential for addressing food security challenges and fostering sustainable development across the continent. Section 11. The Logjam of Aid. In recent months, tons of food have been stuck in USAID warehouses, causing significant distress to U.S. farmers and ripple effects across the global food supply chain. Bureaucratic red tape, logistical challenges, and funding shortfalls have all played a role in the bottleneck. Stringent export regulations and a lack of coordination between various governmental agencies have slowed the movement of food aid. Additionally, disruptions in transportation networks, partly due to the COVID-19 pandemic, have further complicated the situation. The impact of these delays is profound. USAID is working to streamline processes and improve logistical efficiency. By addressing these issues, we can ensure food aid reaches those in need without unnecessary delays. This concludes our exploration of the global food crisis. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Together, through understanding, innovation, and cooperation, we can build a future where no one goes hungry. The recent dismantling of the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, by the Trump administration, under the direction of the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, led by Elon Musk, has significantly impacted American farmers and is contributing to rising food prices. Impact on American farmers' disruption of commodity purchases. USAID has historically been a major purchaser of U.S. agricultural commodities for its international food aid programs. The abrupt halt in USAID operations has led to the suspension of these purchases, directly affecting farmers who relied on this demand. Stranded produce. Approximately 30,000 tons of food intended for international aid are currently stuck in a Houston port due to the suspension of foreign aid. This situation not only results in potential spoilage of the produce, but also signifies lost revenue for farmers who supplied these goods. Financial uncertainty. The freeze in aid programs has created financial instability for farmers, especially those producing commodities like wheat, soybeans, and sorghum, which were commonly purchased for aid purposes. The loss of this market exacerbates existing challenges posed by low commodity prices and trade uncertainties. Effect on food prices. Supply chain disruptions. The suspension of USAID's food aid programs has led to an oversupply of certain commodities in the domestic market. This sudden surplus can depress prices that farmers receive for their crops, while logistical challenges and storage costs may increase, potentially leading to higher consumer prices in the long term. Increased waste and costs. With large quantities of food aid commodities stranded and at risk of spoilage, there is a loss of edible food and financial resources. The costs associated with storing or disposing of these goods can contribute to increased operational expenses, which may be passed down the supply chain, affecting retail food prices. In summary, the termination of USAID's programs under the directives of DOGE has disrupted established markets for American farmers, leading to financial losses and contributing to potential increases in food prices due to supply chain inefficiencies and wasted resources. As we delve deeper into Africa's agricultural landscape, it's crucial to recognize the key players driving the continent's food economy. Let's explore some of the leading food companies and influential individuals shaping Africa's food industry. Tiger Brands, based in South Africa, stands as the nation's largest food producer. They manufacture and distribute a wide array of food products, including milling and baking goods, confectionaries, and beverages. ShopRite Holdings Limited, also from South Africa, is Africa's largest supermarket retailer, with over 3,000 stores across 10 countries. In Nigeria, BUA Foods plc specializes in sugar refining, flour milling, pasta production, and edible oils. Flour Mills of Nigeria plc, established in 1960, is another major player in the Nigerian food industry. From Kenya, Bidco Africa produces a variety of products including edible oils, fats, margarine, and detergents. Aliko Dangote from Nigeria, Africa's richest individual, has significant investments in sugar refining, salt processing, and flour milling. Abdul Samad Rabiu, also from Nigeria, is the founder of BUA Group, playing a major role in Nigeria's food sector. These companies and individuals have driven economic growth within their countries and significantly influenced Africa's position in the global food industry. Their contributions and innovations will be critical as we strive towards a food-secure future for all.